to Alexis as a group, or then we won't have enough groups. And with all of that, I think that we've really laid out a lot of information, and Millie's going to talk to us about, you know, the history, what we're really not getting. We put a little bit of it in bits and pieces, and to put all that together for us. Millie Barron.
Let me say first, the historical record matters to all of us gathered here this evening. Why? Because it provides a narrative of how women have shaped our cultural institutions. But when our voices are missing from the historical discourse, then we must raise questions, seek answers, and correct the public record. This has been happening since the early 80s. Because history matters, I want to talk about some of the hills and valleys that shaped the construction of that record for women in theater. Let me begin by saying some very encouraging things about the recent proliferation of research and writing in our efforts to reestablish women to theatrical history. Many forces have changed. Attention has been paid to the role of women in political and cultural events over the last 40 years. For example, the women's movement in the 70s, gay and lesbian coalitions, women moving into top ranks in higher education, and changing research interest away from white European and American males to explorations of new or ignored movements and neglected or devalued artists. The result has been a flurry of writing. Sophie Treadwell has become a cottage industry. Biographies are being written to reintroduce 20th century pioneering women, producers, directors, designers, to the theater world and beyond. And new introductory textbooks give parity to male and female artists. With all due respect, I do not agree that theater historians have erased the contributions of women to theater history. Erased is too active a verb, implying an intentional act. Our chief theater historians until the 80s, all men, in passive acts, devalued or ignored women in their accounts of world history. In a conversation that took place during a meeting of the National Theater Conference at the Players Club in the early 80s, I remember talking to Helen Pritch-Shenoy, then professor of drama at Smith College, and naively asking her why she had not written a theater history text. She told me that opposition from the male historians in our field created an uncomfortable barrier in the marketplace for women historians of her generation. Shenoy's strategy to overcome or avoid the opposition was to realign her research and write books that her male colleagues had no interest in writing. Actors on Acting and Directors on Directing, written with her sister-in-law, theatrical agent Toby Cole, are now classics. There's a moral here. Since the late 80s, a huge publishing industry supported by university presses and textbook publishers has addressed the historical record. Today, university presses have created series on women's issues and minority and gender issues as they relate to theater practice. And editors have reached out to women authors to write these books. But here comes the however that exists on the periphery of this evening's discussion. Higher education has been extremely influential in bringing about these reforms with mandates for publishing, available study leaves, and support for publications. But at this very moment, the status of women and men in the academy and their creative output is threatened by the economic recession and mandated retrenchment. As you know or have been reading, university endowments have eroded and public institutions have experienced salary and hiring freezes for this coming year, mandated by state legislatures. We can be certain that these current trends in higher education are having a negative impact on women's careers, their jobs, their writings, and their representation in the marketplace. This project on the status of women comes at a most critical moment. As the economy recovers, we need to look carefully at instances of erosion that have potentially reversed the gains women have made since the 80s. We need, I think, on an annual basis, a contemporary historical record, a TCG-like theater facts to address the trends in job loss, the trends in waning creative opportunities, fluctuations in earnings, and inconvenient truths about the marketplace for theater women in the 21st century. I envision a t-shirt with "History Matters" emblazoned on the front. Thank you.